All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to an international webinar on the topic Zest for Life, Give Hope a Chance. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings. William Shakespeare. The concept of hope is actually in our DNA. If anyone has raised children or have seen their loved ones raise children, all you have to do is look at the behavior of an infant who is only just few days old in this world. When the mother has cared for the child and put it down, the infant might sometimes start wriggling, crying out, and it makes the mother worry, okay, what has happened? Has he wetted his nappies? Is he still hungry? But no. As soon as the mother picks up the infant, brings it close to the heart, the infant stops to cry. The child soon learns that every time he cries and he's picked up by the mother, he feels a feeling of comfort, and then he realizes when he cries, there's a hope that somebody's going to come and pick him up and comfort him. So the concept of hope is pretty much in our DNA. When we are so little, we learn that. That's how it happens. And that stays as we grow through our life. And every wise person who has ever walked on this planet had this compelling desire to pass his experience and lessons in some healing words that may influence beyond their existence as his or her legacy. In today's session, we will hear 9 experienced life coach speakers who have come together for the benefit of our audience to share their perspective and, above all, their experience on the subject of hope. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce you the list of speakers in their order of appearance. From Canada, we have Dr. Notabo Nikubi. From New South Wales, Australia, Mr. Sandeep Mukherjee. From Western Australia, Ms. Alexandra Holcabravo. From Western Australia, Mr. Marsilio Sirigano. From New Delhi, Ms. Asta Chandra. From Western Australia again, Ms. Kay Doran. From United Kingdom, Nina Olyuk. She hasn't joined in, but we are hoping she will join us. There's been a few issues in London. And from Mumbai, India, Ms. Nawaz Marka. And from Victoria, Australia, Ms. Tess Nobel. We are extremely privileged to have with us Mr. Jeff Kitchevan, a master top-ranking mediator from Los Angeles, USA, as an honorable chief guest, who has very kindly taken some time out to be with us at this session. We also have with us as guest of honor from California, USA, a renowned keynote speaker, leadership coach, a professional podcaster, and a respected friend, Dr. Deborah Dupre. To assist us in highlighting some key messages from the delivered speeches, we have a panel of 3 speaker analysts. We have Lizzie Younger, who is the director of Evolving Doors based in Perth, WA, who is also an experienced human resource specialist. We have Ms. Payal Kothari, a practicing solicitor, mediator, and a poet from Mumbai, India. And finally, joining us from New York, USA, Ms. Colleen O'Neill, founder at Mediation and Beyond, a professional divorce mediator, therapist, and life coach. To quote the famous words of Gautam Buddha, which resonates even today, 1,000 candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of that candle will not be shortened. Like a candle, let the words and emotions of our speakers enlighten hope within us, so we may never experience another moment of dark gloom. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, let us welcome our guests and speakers and respectfully invite them to share with us their knowledge and wisdom. Now over to you, Dr. Deborah Dupre. I can't hear you. You got to unmute. You got to unmute.
I forgot. I apologize.
It's okay. There you go.
There we go. No matter how many times we do this, we still make those slight missteps, right? I wanted to say thank you so much, Jagdeep, again for this wonderful opportunity to be part of MedFest Mediation Steadfast in Perth, Australia. This has been a truly wonderful opportunity to get to know you and to be part of this wonderful international community of people all over. I've met some wonderful people and have learned so much through the past programs. You know, when we think about hope, like you said, Jagdeep, it is a core emotion that we have. We all have expectations, anticipations. We want to know that there's a better future out there for us. And when we think about the zest for life, I want to share with you a technique that I somehow uncovered along my life of being a coach, a counselor, a therapist, a mediator, and that, like many of you, you probably have people who come to you oftentimes in a time of need. And so one thing I do to help focus them is to say, what are 3 words or phrases that sort of capture where you're coming from? What is it that drives you to take action now? And oftentimes the words are filled with despair, frustration, negativity, and that's why they've chosen to take action now. They don't know how to get out of their own way, so to speak. And then I ask them to identify 3 words or phrases that capture where they are right now. Because they've decided to make some choices. They are inspired with some hope or optimism. They know that they need guidance from people like you, from people like me, in how to get out of whatever despair they're in. And usually you'll see a shift then, the words move from a more negative standpoint into maybe a more neutral or positive standpoint. But then I ask, what are 3 words or phrases that capture where you want to go in the future? And usually those words for the future emphasize hope, a zest for life, how they want to really truly live their lives. And so this is a very simple construct that can help people focus on what is sort of factually going on, what is emotionally going on, but also shifts their mindset about where they've come from, where they are now, and where they might want to be in the future. And I have found that time and time again, that's a really powerful mechanism, because then whenever you're confronted with, okay, what am I going to do? How do I feel about the situation? So the question to ask yourself then is to say, is what I'm about to do or decide or take action towards helping me move towards the future? Or is it simply keeping me stuck in the past? Sometimes we are our own biggest obstacles. Would you agree? We can get in our own way. I oftentimes say, imagine where I could be if I just got out of my own way. And so I put that question out to my clients as well, as far as how is your thinking, how is your perception of life actually interfering with your ability to move forward? And in that regard, then it really helps open up that mindset. It helps them think about how they can redirect the steps they're taking to move forward in life. Particularly as mediators, people come to us. They're already in impasse. They're already unable to figure out how to solve their challenges, their problems, or whatever conflict that they're facing. And so they need guidance from people like us to then redirect, reshape, rethink. So I like to borrow on the words of Dr. Wayne Dyer, a psychologist like I am, who really took a very important look at life and made his life work. And he said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so it's like, what does that really mean? So it is, as I like to borrow from another colleague of mine, Gabriel Hartley, a divorce mediator, attorney from the East Coast here in the United States. It's so important to step back before we step forward. And when we step back and say, what's going on in the big picture of life? How important is whatever matter I am, I'm faced with that is so challenging, confronting, puzzling, confusing, conflicting? And how do I want to move forward in the future? And so stepping back, reflecting, and then stepping back forward. And just taking that pause in how we look at things can be so powerfully impactful. So I have another little technique that I use, what I call the 3 Bs. So be in the moment. Recognize what's going on for you. Am I feeling confused? Am I feeling anxious? Am I, not feeling a sense of hope or zest for life? Take a few deep breaths, because after all, we all breathe, right? Would you agree? We all breathe. That's how we live. But oftentimes we don't breathe in ways that actually help us. And so that's where deep breathing comes into play. It's shifting our mechanism for breathing. And by taking 3 or 4 deep breaths, it actually gives us an opportunity to redirect our thinking in our brain, moving from the emotional brain into the cognitive brain. And then by doing that a couple of different times, I like to say, do 3 or 4 deep breaths, and then do 3 or more deep breaths, and then say, how do I want to show up on the other side? How do I want to show up? How is my presence impacting what's happening? And then we have a vision. We visualize. It takes us to a different part of the brain to say, okay, I want to come out of this, let's say, calm, collected, on top of things, hopeful, a zest for life. Because then now we can infuse ourselves with encouragement and positivity and enlightenment in ways that we may not have experienced before. And so it's powerful. Very simple techniques, but it's all about redirecting our brain. And so that's where, we can get back in touch with hope, that zest for life, and how we move forward differently. And so I know I get a lot of encouragement every day. Well, in fact, I just had a family situation develop in the last couple of days. My sister-in-law lost her vision due to a retina issue. And she's only like 55. And it's like, oh my gosh, what a change in life that has brought to her and my nephews. My brother has passed away 10 years back. And so we're grappling with that now. But I talked to my own kids and just said, every day, it's so important that we wake up with a sense of gratitude, with a sense of hope of how we live our lives, and be appreciative of what we have in front of us. And certainly, heck, we all know, right, what a challenge this last year and a half has been worldwide. And so it is a matter of redirecting, regrouping, rethinking, and redirecting how we show up. And so with that, I want to inspire you all with courage, hope, enthusiasm to think about, what difference can you make in your day ahead? And how you can bring that to your clients, wherever they might be. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity to open up today's program. And with hope, enthusiasm, encouragement, and conviction that we all make a difference, and we can help others make a difference as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
And with that, I want to then pass the torch on to my good friend and colleague, Jeff Kitchaven. I've actually had the opportunity to meet Jeff over the last few years. We have lots of contacts in the legal and mediation field. Jeff was actually a guest on my podcast, Decoding the Conflict Mindset, just a couple of months ago. And we had the opportunity to talk about confidentiality and how confidentiality in the world of mediation is challenged in today's virtual world, in how different countries and different states, like within the United States, handle confidentiality. But Jeff comes to us with a rich legacy and history of being a lawyer for many years. He graduated from Harvard Law School, so I can't think of anything more prestigious than that. But he has won awards throughout the years like you can't believe. Best mediation lawyer in Los Angeles, outstanding board member for the Center for Civic Mediation. He's had a special award for excellence in mediation from the Asian Pacific American Dispute Resolution Center, California Lawyer Attorney of the Year. I mean, Jeff, what haven't you done? It's amazing.
Well, I haven't yet spoken to this group, so I'm delighted to do that.
There we go.
And Deborah, thank you so much for that very generous and gracious introduction. Jagdeep, thanks so much to you and Steadfast Mediation for having me as your guest speaker today. It's a wonderful opportunity to speak on the subject of hope and how mediation contributes to hope for the people with whom we work, the people in conflict, the people who are in distress with whom we work. And I want to share some ideas with you about how we can help engender hope in the people with whom we work. And these are not original ideas with me. These are ideas to which I was first exposed way back in 2009 in a terrific book written by George Blackall, Blackall, Stephen Sims, and Michael Green. They're three medical school professors. And they wrote a book called Breaking the Cycle: How to Turn Conflict into Collaboration When You and Your Patients Disagree. The scenario that Blackall and his co-authors described basically goes like this, and it's got parallels in the legal context. You start with the patient. The patient has a symptom. They have something wrong with them, some illness or some injury. Similarly, for lawyers, they've got some clients have some legal problem. They have a lawsuit, a legal problem with which they must deal. And so the doctors do what they can, surgery, medicine. Lawyers do what they can. They take depositions, they get documents, they make motions in court, things of that nature. Doctors and lawyers together do what they can to improve the situation of the patient or the client. The problem comes up in that neither doctors nor lawyers can really make things just like they were before. And sometimes you get a very demanding patient or a very demanding client, if you're a lawyer, who wants everything to be just like it was before, when that's not possible. And the client or the patient is demanding, do more, do more, do more. And at that point, the problem for the professional ceases to be the medical condition or the legal situation. The problem is the client's demand to keep doing more when there's nothing more to do. Now, if you view the professional, the doctor or the lawyer, as an expert in the situation, the relationship, according to Blackall and his co-authors, really has nowhere to go. You end up with estrangement between the lawyer and their client. When the client keeps demanding, do more, do more, do more, that's the client whose calls you return last. That's the client whose file you pick up last. You look for anything else to do other than work on or call that particular client. And you're just in a downward spiral. Things are not going to get better unless the situation is addressed in some more proactive way. And so Blackall and his co-authors suggests a different way of thinking about the relationship, and it's a way that mediators can relate to a lawyer's clients in ways that the lawyer often cannot. And that is to be a collaborator rather than an expert in how we relate to the client. After all, we as mediators are simply not responsible for solving the problems being endured by a lawyer's clients. We're not their lawyers. We don't have those kinds of duties and obligations to them. So we can undertake a different role, not the expert, the problem solver, but rather the collaborator. And when we do that, the responsibility for solving the client's problem stays with the client. It does not shift to us. We don't take responsibility in the same way that a lawyer might. And so when responsibility stays with the client, the conversation between the mediator and the client looks very different and can actually engender hope. Blackhall and his co-authors suggest a four-step approach, and they use the acronym ARCH, A-R-C-H, for collaborative conversations. I've used it successfully many times, and I commend it to all of you. ARCH, A-R-C-H. A, the A stands for acceptance. Accept the client's problem as it is. Accept the client's feelings about their problem. Accept their emotional state. Don't try to get anybody to change their feelings. Logic, which is what most of us trained as lawyers, that's our happy place. But logic is not going to solve an emotional problem that a lawyer's client, a party to a lawsuit, is having. So A, acceptance. Accept feelings, don't try to change them. R, the second letter, respect. Listen, validate the concerns that the clients bring to the table. Take what they have to say seriously. Show them respect. The third step, C, curiosity. Blackhall and his co-authors suggest this. They suggest that you ask yourself, the mediator, the simple question, what would a curious person do right now? What would a curious person do right now? That simple question, Blackhall and his co-authors suggest, sets the stage for professionals, in our case as mediators, to move away from controlling behaviors, leaving the responsibility for solving the problem, making things better, with the client. And then we've had A, acceptance, R, respect, C, curiosity, and now H, honesty, turning your own feelings, even if they're negative, to a productive end. You might say to the clients, you know, you're frustrated. I feel pretty frustrated too. I find the situation frustrating myself. How do you think we can move toward a solution? How do you think we can turn in a more positive direction? And this is stock in trade for us as mediators, to ask questions rather than to make statements. And so by acknowledging our own feelings as well as the feelings of others, and then asking questions to turn conversations in a more positive direction, we can engender hope in the clients as they begin to take responsibility themselves. One magic question, let me just conclude with this, Jagdeep. An absolutely magical question is to ask the clients, have there been other times in your life when you have faced a bad situation and you just had no idea how you were going to get out of this situation? Perhaps loss of a parent or a loved one, breakup of an important relationship in a divorce or other romantic situation. Ask, have there been other situations where you just didn't know how you were going to find your way out of a hopeless situation? And what inner resources, what inner strengths did you bring to bear in that situation to allow yourself to move forward? And let's face it, everybody who's an adult has had those kind of situations, has had personal losses, family, career, health, otherwise, and somehow found the internal resources to move on. And by reminding people that they have had situations where they have found those internal resources and asking them to bring those internal resources to bear in dealing with the current situation, we can actually encourage people, lend them our own sense of courage, and engender hope in people to move forward. So I hope this is helpful, Jagdeep, and practical to our listeners. Acceptance, respect, curiosity, honesty. The magic question: have you had other situations, hopeless situations, where you have been able to draw on internal resources to find a way forward? I commend this approach to you. I have found it works in a variety of situations, and I'm interested in hearing from people how it works if they try it. My email is simply my initials, JK, at my name, jeffkitchaven.com, and I would look forward to hearing from anybody who tries this to hear about how it goes. Again, thank you so much for having me here, Jagdeep. Thanks to Steadfast for sponsoring this great program. Dr. Deborah Dupree, thank you once again for that wonderful introduction. Back to you, Jagdeep. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. That was really, really wise words. And I can see why you have won so many awards. It's not a surprise, not a surprise. It's a great honor to have you. And on behalf of all the speakers and us, we thank you for your time. And if you want to leave at any time, just raise your hand, and I can understand it's very late for you there. So yes, we will not be offended. So
I'm in Chicago, Illinois tonight. It's about 12:30 p.m. here, and I'm kind of tired. So I'll stay on for a few more minutes, and please forgive me when I log off. It's a wonderful program and a great opportunity.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Jeff. So moving forward, now we come to our life coach speakers after our chief guest and guest of honor have given us a good warm-up exercise to think. Our first life coach speaker today is from Canada. It's Dr. Notabo Nikubi. Please excuse my pronunciation, but I'll give the stage to her and she can introduce and then carry on with the speech. So Doctor, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you all to serve. I'm here to share my story of hope. My journey started out in Zimbabwe, and my mother passed away, unfortunately, when I was 14. And at that tender age, as I was looking at my mother lying down in her coffin, I say to her, Mama, Mama Nilethemba, which means, Mama, I'm hopeful. I continued and said, I'll try by all means, and I'll strive to be a doctor. So for me, the theme of hope has been pivotal in my journey, as those words were the last words that I say to my mother as a promise to her, as a way of saying, though you're gone, I'll continue on and make something great of my life. And for me, it was to become a medical doctor because that was always a dream for me. And fortunately, 2 years after, my family and I migrated from Zimbabwe to Canada, where we found ourselves living in community housing, subjected to poverty. And it is true that out of pain, something beautiful can emerge, which is hope. While we're living in that catchment area, I came in alignment with a program called Pathways to Education. Pathways to Education was my saving grace. It provided me with a mentor, with a tutor to support me in my academic journey. And it is because of Pathways to Education that I got a full ride scholarship into McMaster University to do my pre-med sciences. Now, as I look back on my journey, I recognize that the moment the moment I whispered those words into the universe, I was giving the universe the power to co-create that dream with me and to bring it into physical manifestation in the world. And most of us would agree we're here that those words, that promise to my mother, whispered hope. And when I started at McMaster University through the Full Ride Scholarship, I stumbled. I fell into depression, lost my way in my studies. And that was also because of the circumstances that were surrounding me and my family at the time. And I remembered the words that I met to my mother, that I have hope in me, that I'll become a medical doctor. And I decided to reapply into the university. And considering my circumstances at the time, they gave me a second chance. They reinstated me into the program, gave me a fresh, clean slate, as though nothing had ever happened. And for me, that moment again whispered hope and served as a reminder that when we believe in our dreams and we trust in the journey ahead, when we have hope, the universe makes room for us and positions us in such a way that we can fulfill the dream that is in us and fulfill the mission that is in us. So McMaster gave me a second chance, and then I studied hard at school and ended up making it to Windsor University School of Medicine. Unfortunately, when I was now studying at Windsor University School of Medicine, I didn't have enough money to fulfill a full academic year. That was another hurdle again. And around that time, as I was, talking to my friends, looking for ways in which I could, pay for my school fees, one of my friends said to me, how about you send your story to Oprah Winfrey? Since Oprah Winfrey is all about empowering the girl child and women through the power of education. And then I went on the Oprah Winfrey website, and the first thing that popped up was, tell us your story. You become what you believe. What I was looking for was a scholarship or a bursary, but there was nothing connected to that. And so I quickly shared my story, how my mother had passed away at 14, and that I had made a promise to her, and that I was just starting medical school at the time. And I got invited to be a part of Oprah Winfrey's live class on You Become What You Believe. And for me, the words, you become what you believe, I feel that was redirection again on my journey, reminding me that I was being guided, that I was being led. So if I didn't believe in myself when my world fell apart, I would have not experienced that Oprah moment. And just being there with Oprah Winfrey in that room and other phenomenal women, my lens of awareness shifted. I came to understand myself differently and in a deeper way. I came to understand that I was called for something more, that I was called as a voice of hope to use my story and my journey to inspire people, to inspire humanity, and to give people hope. And that is the beauty of what happens when we trust in ourselves, when we believe in our dreams, when we trust that there is a higher hand that surpasses our understanding, a divine intelligence that is constantly conspiring with us and helping us to bring those dreams into physical manifestation. So from Oprah Winfrey, I came back to Canada, continued with my studies, and ended up graduating. And upon graduating, I received an opportunity to share my story on the TEDx platform. For me, the TEDx platform was my launching pad. That was my first opportunity speaking on the world stage, sharing my story. And that was yet another reminder from the universe, reminding me that I was in alignment with who I am, with who I'm called to be. And I remember sharing my story and seeing people lining up to talk to me, people being moved and touched by my story. And from there, I was invited to South Africa, where I spoke before 5,000 people, alongside people like Lisa Nichols, Reverend Michael Beckwith, who are based in LA. And then came back into Canada, continued on the path, coaching and speaking as well, touching lives. And I've since been highlighted on the Canadian Immigrant Magazine, on Global News TV, but also just traveling the world, sharing my message of hope, connecting with people, marginalized communities, reminding people that in each and every one of us, there lies the power to transcend our circumstances, that in each and every one of us, there lies the power to look within ourselves and dig deeper for hope. It's a power that exists in each and every life. So I'm here now, with the hope and intention that I'll be able to transfer over that gift to other people, so that way we can together shine a lot more candles and ignite hope in other people's lives and remind other people that they too can achieve whatever it is that is possible. Thank you.
That is absolutely amazing. My big take on that speech, and Dr. Dupre, you can quickly come in for a comment before we go to the next speaker. I think for me, the big take of what you said was aligning with the universe, because from my own experience, I have been through really, really overwhelming situations in my life. And I felt the only power who can assist me is the power in the heaven, because you feel you're so powerful that you can solve all your problems, but you have your limitation and you just give it up and you let the higher power take care. And I'm so glad you touched on that point. Dr. Dupre, your quick comment before we go to our next speaker.
Yeah, Natabo, you definitely speak to out of adversity comes opportunity. And it's just being, aware enough to, see it, like I said, step back before you step forward. And sometimes we need to step back for a while. And yet you are the epitome of making opportunity out of adversity. So congratulations.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. I'm truly, truly honored to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to our next speaker now. He's from New South Wales. It's Mr. Sandeep Mukherjee. Sandeep, the mic is yours.
Can you hear me now? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jagdeep. I'm Sandeep. Thank you for the introduction. I live in Sydney, Australia with my wife and son. And like many other places, we are, in not a good state as of now, but I am hopeful that soon, very soon, we would be through it. And I invite all of you, if you haven't been to this beautiful part of the world, that when things settle down, do give us a visit. The purpose of my life has been to help people sustainably function at their peak potential. And we can model people to get their best performance when they want it, much like sportsmen now that the Olympics are on. And there is a way and manner in which that can be replicated. And I consider myself fortunate that my purpose aligns with what I do for a living as a coach. I have my own coaching and consulting business based out of Sydney, and I'm also part of coaching panels of other businesses based in Australia, Singapore, and US. But in my earlier avatars of my professional life, I've also worked in banks, in the retail and investment, worked in a Big Four, and also served in combat with the Army for 10 years. A lot of my life values and skills come from my military background. I was in the Army between the age of 20 and 30, a large part of my youth. Not saying that I'm not so young now, but the military changes how we view the world, how we view ourselves, and ensured that I could function at my best, even when the conditions were stressful, high risk, or uncertain. And that's pretty much the kind of state that we are in. And I would like to share a story, a true incident, because that to me brings out what zest for life and hope means to me. And I'm hopeful that it will give you a perspective of what hope means. So when I joined my combat unit, this is late 90s, early 2000s, as part of our orientation, we were told about this incident where a pair of soldiers who were deployed in one of the posts at super high altitudes had gone out for maintaining communication lines. For those who do not know, I'm talking about heights where the oxygen level is so low that doing normal daily chores is a Herculean task. The temperature is around 20 to 30 degrees below zero on a good day. If you wanted to brush, you had to first put that toothpaste tube into a cauldron of boiling water. Yes, there is always a cauldron of water which is boiling. If you wanted to write, you had to put your pen into that cauldron again. You get the drift, right? So these two guys, they roped in, which is tied themselves to the end of a rope. That's how you move. And they had to be back before darkness set in. So they went off to maintain a communication line down the track where their post was located. And suddenly there was a blizzard. Now a blizzard at that height meant visibility was zero. Temperature drops down even further. And it's an effort with that kind of wind speed just not to get blown away from the post. Being caught outside kind of meant certain death. So somehow the message was conveyed to the headquarters that there was this pair that is outside and they've been caught in this blizzard. The conditions in headquarters is generally better because it is at a lower height, and being at the base, there are equipments, there are people who are particularly trained for rescue missions, but they knew that they couldn't do much till the time the blizzard was there, because there was no point in attempting a rescue. It would mean putting more people into that exact situation from which they're going to try and extricate the pair. However, they were ready to go as soon as the blizzard subsided, but it did not until it was dark. And darkness changes everything in those parts at those heights. It brings a new set of challenge. It meant at those times that rescue helicopters couldn't fly. This also meant that the chances of those guys being found at all, let alone being found alive, now was closer to zero. However, the headquarters kept on communicating with the helicopter units. But with so much time between them being lost and the earlier that they could fly, which was now the next morning, people were not very sure it will matter. But the commanding officer of my unit called in a personal favor. He knew the pilot they had done some courses, something together, and he told him, look, I don't care if you term this as a search and rescue mission, if you term this as a reconnaissance flight, if you term this as a joyride, but I want to be up on the air at the first light tomorrow, and I want you to make it happen. So at first light, there was a helicopter at the commanding officer and the doctor of our unit were on board. And as they were flying towards the site, they noticed a circle. Now, when there is fresh snow, everything gets covered up, and what we see from above is just pristine whiteness. But anything that has disturbed this is visible from far away, and that is what these guys saw. They saw a circle. So they flew closer, and when they looked, they could see what seemed like two ants moving, and they had basically located them. So long story short, they rescued them, and they were being taken towards the hospital. And that guy was asked, how did he do those circles? How did he make those circles? And he said, well, at some point of time, the other guy had become unconscious, and he used him at the center and then kept on walking with the help of that rope throughout the night. And when he was asked why he did that, he said, hope. He knew that there would be a rescue mission, but he hoped that he would outlast the blizzard. And then when night fell, he hoped that he would outlast the darkness. He hoped to get back to his unit, to his family, and that hope kept him going. Hope to me is an internal and core part of our being. Research says that one of the main reasons that people even think of committing suicide is hopelessness. Till the time we have hope, we have desire, and we have zest, and we have those resources that we need to get on with life. even if that life at that point of time is full of uncertainty, stress, and risk. And like Jagdeep brought out before we started, hope does not have to be learned. We are born with it, even if we do not know. I am yet to meet somebody who said, you know what, when I was small, I started to learn to walk and I was hopeless in that, so I give up. Not met anyone who said that. And I can say with certainty that none of you have. The reason that we sometimes get away from that core feeling of our inner self and hope is that we let external event situations or experiences become our beliefs and form a layer on top of that. And if we can unpeel those layers, or even if we become aware of them, we have hope. And at this point of time, if I had the superpower of gifting each one of you, every one of you that are here with us, or maybe every one of you that will hear this in the future, if I could have a gift to give each one of you, that would be hope. Stephen Hawking said, however bad life may seem, there is always something that you can succeed at. Where there is life, there is hope. And I would add to that, when there is hope, there is life. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely amazing. I'm speechless. You know, two speakers in a row, so much wealth of knowledge. And so I think it is beyond me to analyze everything that has been said. So I'm going to bring in a very special guest, Lisa Younger. She's going to be my speaker analyst, and I'm counting on her skills to bring in some finer points of the first two speakers. Lisa, all yours. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Both wonderful stories, very inspiring. Notabo, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You know, I found that story such an enlightening and amazing example of what hope can create. You know, you starting off in Zimbabwe with the loss of your mother, and then going to community housing in a foreign country, which is so different from your native homeland. And then, you know, the challenges with the study and everything, and the parallel of surviving all that and moving forward was the hope of something greater, a higher purpose. And, you know, I'm congratulations to you and the outstanding achievements that you've made, and how you've been able to take all those challenges and struggles to use that as a way to inspire others and pass on that hope to others. So yeah, it's a very moving story, and I totally agree with everything that you said, that, you know, in order to sort of align with your sense of self and your greater purpose, that hope is really critical. So and similar, Sandeep, your story that you shared, you know, it really demonstrates that hope will enable you to survive any adversity that comes into your life at any point. And we all face adversity, not necessarily that extreme life or death, but certainly we all have moments where we feel hopeless and we can't move on. So I think going back to what Deborah was saying at the start of this call about, you know, she used the three words that connect you to your past and your present and your future, to enable us to really get in touch with that. Where do we need to go next? What's the next step? You know, you use the words of talking about, you know, that we are designed to move forward. I really believe that. I think evolution is part of our humanity, and that we all have to have a future that we can move towards in order to feel a sense of peace and contentment. So I really feel like your story of survival demonstrates that hope is really the thing that keeps us moving forward in the direction that we need to go. So, you know, I believe that the power of positive thinking is so fundamental for us to be able to survive any difficult challenges that we have in our life. So thank you to you both. Very inspiring stories, and I'm honored to be able to you know, share my views and thoughts around your two inspiring stories. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Lacey. Now you see, that was such a great analysis, and that's why we have Lacey on our panel, and that's why she was on our leadership talk too. You know, we're so lucky to connect with such people. You know, so thank you for your time. I know you have other commitments, so if you do have to leave, just, you know, help yourself. But we would love to have you around for a longer time if you can.
Thank you. I'll stay for as long as I can. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, because I might come back to you for a little bit more comments in future. So if you're there, I might trouble you again. Our next speaker is also from Western Australia, Miss Alexandra. I will not pronounce the surname. I'll let her pronounce it. So the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Hold Spanova, just to help you a little bit. Thank you very much for having me, and that was absolutely amazing what you shared, guys, and I'm really enjoying that, and I love your stories. And thank you, Sandeep. You actually started to talk about hope, and same way is actually a desire. And I was thinking about that connection that you mentioned is great, because it's something that I want to mention. And I would like to share a little bit different. I would like to share something from the practical success principles that you can use in your business or life or in every situation. And it will help you to actually have that hope and fulfill your desired outcome, because I believe that is important, because when we have hope, automatically we actually have desire to achieve something. And today I would like to talk about life and business, because I'm coming from business environment, and it's already 19 years for me, and started from zero, from beginning 4 times and in different countries. And I think I have rights to say business is tough and it's hard and difficult and challenging. And I believe it's not for faint-hearted. I know we need to be strong as a leader, and you need to own those difficulties and the reality of dealing with those tough situations every day, as a parent, as a leader, as a business owner. And but those realities don't need to be overwhelming. And as I mentioned, I'm in business 19 years, and I'm objective observer, performance and leadership coach. And I'm here today to share those 5 principles to overcome challenges, have hope, and achieve the desired outcome. And thank you very much for the opportunity. And I'll probably start with, we are all busy all the time. I can hear it every day, every meeting, every networking, people are coming and it's like, hey, how are you? I'm busy. Everybody is busy, and it looks like we are buying ourselves jobs, and we just keep ourselves busy. And maybe we are hiding or avoiding something. And I always said, why we are in that implementing stage all the time, just doing. And we are so busy, but we still don't have enough money in our bank account, or we don't have enough time for ourselves, for our families, for our kids, for our friends. But is that really what we want? Is that really where we want to be, just busy? I'm sure some of you being there when you started a business, I believe some of you're doing consulting, that means it's hard. And sometimes we are in business 2 years, 3 years, and we don't even pay the salary to ourselves. And I think most of us started that way. And I've been there, trust me. And it was a few years that I didn't pay myself, and I was working 16 hours a day. But do we want to stay busy? And I think that's Australian saying, that we want to run around like a truck without a head and still don't have money, or we want to start to think differently, strategically, and really have more time with family and friends, and be less stressed, and actually have that space to think and hope for something better, and create desires and things that we want to do. And I always said there was one great quote: 10 men wisely led will defeat 100 without a head. And I think it's such a well said, that we just need to start to think a little bit differently, and we can approach any situation and win what we want. And I would like to share those principles, because they help myself, my clients, and you can probably learn something. You can use it in your parenting. You can use it for your kids or in business. And the first and most important part, I always said, the first principle is to know your outcome. And I think Sandeep already mentioned that it's so important to be able to know where we are aiming. And I think Zig Ziglar said, he said that if you aim for nothing, you hit it 1,000 times. And I think a lot of us don't even know where we're going. That means I believe hope is connected with that. Like, we need to know where we're going. We need to know what we hope for, what we desire. And I always said, when you're in taxi, you call taxi driver, and he's coming for you, he picks you up, and now you sit in the car and he's asking you, okay, where you want to go? And you will say, I'm going to Perth. Then he will probably just drive around the streets in Perth, but you will never come to final destination because you don't know the street and the street number. That means, remember, we need to know where we aim, where we're going, what is our goal, what is our desire. Second principle is, of course, take action on that. That means to take massive action, of course, we need to know the goal and we need to do something. We can't just dream. We just can't think about that. Think about, oh, we want this. This is our great goal. And sit at home and think about how amazing it would be if we will achieve it. That means just do some small thing today. Take a small step. And no one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to create your desired outcome, your desired future. No one else, just you. That means put yourself together. I will give you 3 more principles to actually be able to make it and make it the great way that you will achieve what you want. I always said the third principle is sensory acuity. It's kind of like having self-awareness. Like, really understand when the things are not working, stop yourself. Start to think about that. Okay, something is not working. I probably need to change the strategy. And it's coming from Albert Einstein. And he said that doing same things over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. And we know that. It's just not, that something doesn't work. It's not going to just work after a year of doing that. We need to change the strategy. That means bring that self-awareness into situations, how we behave, how we influencing other people, what they feel around us, and bring that self-confidence and self-awareness into people and help them to feel great around you and help them to see where you're going. And maybe they will be the person that will help you to take you on your journey and give you a hand. And I always said, when people identify their limiting beliefs, thinking patterns, behavioral patterns, and they know what is stopping them, they will start to focus on their strengths and build up on the strength and actually move forward. And of course, another principle is behavioral flexibility. This one is very important, especially now when we have COVID, we have so many things happening in our world. We need to be flexible. And as Sandeep mentioned that already, babies, and I would like to mention that as well. When we learn how to walk, we stand up 1,000,000 times and we try different things. And how many people laugh at us? You know, how many people look at us like, oh, this baby, when the baby will start to walk? But we always wake up and we do it again. We try again and try again. And if it doesn't work, we change it a little bit and we try again. And being flexible with behavior is important because we can adapt to changes. We can change, we can adapt to our market. We can change our behavior and we can achieve what we want. I mean, this is really, really massive. And when I guess the most important thing here, I would love to mention that people are tempted to shrink their goals. You know, when they set up the goal, it's like, oh, that's a big goal. And if it's not working, we shrink the goal instead of expanding our reality and start to think out of the box and actually achieve that goal, what we set up, the big one. And the last one that will help probably all of us in any kind of situation, fifth principle, is physiology. I love to talk about that because I believe physiology is, it's not coming only from me, probably, you know, Jordan Peterson and some of you here are psychologists, that we can't shift our mind very quickly, but we can shift our mindset through this physiology. We can change our body. That means if we don't feel it, we feel down, we don't have hope, you know, we are down, we just can't see anything, what is next. We need to stand up, shoulders back, chin up, and just walk for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Just really walk confidently, and you will actually gain that confident feeling. Your mental state will change. That means your body will help you. Your body will help you to stop procrastinating, to stop feeling down. Your body will actually take you there. And it's shorter period of time. That means change your state, change your physiology, and your mind will follow. And I think this is really important in kind of situation. And I believe we should all try to guide ourselves through those 5 steps, because they will help you to actually achieve what you want. And it's not only staying in that hope stage that we will hope for better future, but we will take those five principles and we will be able to achieve it. And I want to see that us knowing about those 5 principles, we can help other people. We can be an example. We can take them with us. We can actually support them with smile and laugh, and just give them maybe the idea like, hey, you can actually stand up, feel confident, and actually you can achieve what you want because you are not going to feel down anymore. And that's what I do, helping people to solve their problems and make them feel confident and excited about their goals and keep that hope going and coming. Thank you.
Oh, that was really, really well said. I think you had a kind of a stage set up there, like you're standing and talking.
I'm standing this because I can't sit anymore because I sit so much on my computer. Yeah.
Where's your accent from? It was quite intriguing.
Slovakia.
Slovakia. All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Dubre, I might just quickly get you in here to comment on Alexandra's thing. You want to speak about to our audience out there about Dr. Phil's thing. That was really interesting that you put in the chat.
Yeah, I love what Alexandra had to say as far as, some of her thinking and her mindset. And it is really about mindset. And so oftentimes people think that, oh my gosh, you're finding fault with me, I'm not doing something correctly. But I like to use Dr. Phil, if you know anything about Dr. Phil in the United States, TV host. He has a saying that says, how's that working for you? And so if it's not, that's opportunity. That's opportunity to make change. And so whenever I say that to my clients, they go, it's not. It's like, okay, that's first realization. Let's do something about that.
That's so good. So good. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandra. That was a really good speech. And the worst part is, when you are conducting this, my mind is on so many screens here, but when I will get a chance, I'm actually going to go back and listen to everything everyone has said, and just makes so much more sense when you listen to it in a more relaxed, when you're not doing other stuff here. So thank you once again for coming along. We're going to move to our next speaker now. That's Mr. Marsilio Sirigano. The stage is yours. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Today, I'd like to share something with you that I've been implementing the last year or two of my life. And I hope I will inspire you to look at life differently. This is a method that I developed myself. I designed it myself, and it's about bringing to life the behavior and relationship people have through the metaphor of food to life. So today I'm going to share something with you, and I hope this will inspire you to give not just hope to yourself, but also the hope to the people who follow you and are around you. I come from an Italian background. I was born and raised in Italy, and food has always been part of our lives since I was born. And we are passionate about food. We are passionate about recipe and trying new things. And as I look at the world through my eyes and the experience that I had in the past, which let me tell you, years ago was not one of my best time of life. Separated from a partner, I found myself in a really dark place, and I was contemplating suicide to a point, and I also almost attempted. And then I start to look at the positive side of their life, what I was going to miss out. And then I'm looking at the world around me, and I see that it's filled with indifference, it's filled with discrimination, it's filled with selfishness, it's filled with conflict. It's filled with people who are lovers of money, lovers of themselves, but the good car, the good house, the big bank account is most important. And we are living in a world where even the leaders are saying that if we don't change the way we do things, we might not survive, not the world, not the planet that we live in, not the people, not mankind. But what if instead of trying to change the world, we're trying to improve it? What if instead of trying to change the things that we do, the way we do things, we improve it? You know, not everything that we do is wrong. Some has to be right, right? See, I looked at water like a dish, like spaghetti meatballs. But the meatball is our planet, you know, where the meatball is made with two kinds of meats, beef and pork, or beef and lamb, with parsley, with eggs, bread, and some garlic as well, combine it together with the eggs and bread, and the sauce is like is made with extra virgin olive oil, freshly chopped onions and carrots, beautiful Roma tomato, and all cooked in a very slowly in a low heat. See, for me, the plant is the meatball. Is the meatball that is full of colors, is full of flavors. You know, we're talking about the rivers, the oceans, the mountains, the flatlands, and the trees, the animals, and the people from all nations, from all languages, cultures, and traditions. That is so beautiful and so colorful on its own. I'd like you to sort of kind of imagine cooking this sauce. I'd like you to imagine your life to be that dish. And I'd like you to sort of thinking about while you're cooking the sauce, you put the extra virgin olive oil, you sort of sear the meatballs with the extra virgin olive oil, and then adding a little more olive oil just to caramelize the onions and carrots. Then you add the sauce, then you add the tomato, the Roma tomato, and you lower the heat just to let it cook slowly. But then I want you to imagine that while you're cooking the sauce, you taste it and it's bland, no flavor. Do you throw away the sauce? Absolutely not. You go to your pantry and you grab the salt and you add a little by little to the sauce until it's elevated to a flavor that satisfies your taste buds. But what if the sauce is sour? What do? You don't throw away the sauce again. No, you go back to the cabbage, you bring some sugar, and you add a little by little to the sauce until the sourness is gone. See, the sauce is really what make or ruin the dish. And it's also the ingredients that we use. If you don't use the correct ingredients with top quality, it doesn't matter how we cook the sauce, it will taste different and will have not a nice flavor. It all starts with the olive oil. For example, extra virgin olive oil, which is the foundation of the dish, is the infuser of this dish, is the foundation of our beliefs and the infuser of our character. That's what the sauce is made of. And then there is the pure oil, which is a bit different from the extra virgin olive oil. And here's the difference. The extra virgin olive oil is just extracted from the olives, freshly crushed into a paste. And then this paste is being put into this presser where you extract the water and the oil together. This liquid then goes to a filter, you extract more of this residual paste that is in this liquid, and then it goes to a spinner that separates the water from the oil. And then there is the oil, olive oil. That is this compressed paste that is being put into a machine filled with hot water. and then recompressed to extract the water and the little bit of oil that is left into the water, into that paste, and then blended with the other oils extracted exactly the same way. See, that is what I call the foundation of who we are. That is our values that we learn from our parents, from our friends, from our family, from the people that we work with. You know, we might are different, but if the values are not strong, so the life will not be happy as we want it. I'll see in the world, there are people that their foundation is built with just olive oil. Their life is blunt, it's sour. They are full of conflict, they are full of hate. They don't see people as one, they see people differently. But you know what? There is hope. Here's a recipe that I'd like to share with you. First, we need to, sorry, I lost my kind of thought. Just a second. I'll grab to my notes. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to have the right balance of salt and sugar. We need to be willing to share our knowledge and our wisdom that we learn through our lifetime. And we need to learn it with compassion, with love and humility. Then we can go out into the world and we can mix with the world and willingly and lovingly share this passion that we have for life. If you go into a place where people are indifferent and discriminating, share your knowledge, share your wisdom. And if you go into a place where there is hate, conflict, and indifference, share your sugar, share your love, share your compassion. And don't worry, you don't have to be you don't have to make miracles to be successful in this journey. Not even a superhuman or a master chef. All you gotta do is just be your best. You know, I don't know about you, but I am hungry for the world of peace, of love, and where we're all equal. Aren't you angry as well? If you are, let's go out there and let's start cooking. Let's inspire others to be the best person they can be. Let's impact the humanity of the people that follow us and live with us, and inspire the life of those who follow the people that follow us. And I promise you that the hope for the world to be a better place will definitely have a mouth-watering hope. Thank you.
Oh, that was a really tasty recipe for life. I couldn't stop thinking of food in your whole speech. I said, when is the final dish going to come out? That was well said. In a very layman's language, it is really, really well explained. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite Colleen now to bring us some final aspect of our last two speakers, that is Alexandra and Marcelia. Colleen, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. I mean, this has been an incredible experience to be listening to all these pearls of wisdom from everybody. And it's really hard to just succinctly put all of this, and I will do my best. So Alexandra, thank you so much for your talk. I was really drawn in by what you had to say. Part of that was probably because I love accents, but I just was really drawn in by the steps that you laid out for us. And I just want to go through them the way that I received them, in hopes that having both of us share, others will be able to take it in as well. So I really connected with you starting out with talking about hope being a goal and a desire. And I never really kind of equated the two together, but really, you know, without the goal, you can't have the hope. Without the hope, you can't have the goal and the desire. And I thought some of your questions were just really important to acknowledge. you're like, know what you hope for, because you can't just have hope. You have to know what you're hoping for, and taking action with our hope, with our goal, with our desires, that action piece, because hope, as much as it's a noun, really needs to be a verb, right? And so, and be aware of the strategies we're going to use with our desire, with our goal, with our hope in life. And that behavioral flexibility, which I've never heard it really put, so it's kind of poetic, really, that behavioral flexibility. And what I took out of that was like, don't shrink your hope, don't make it smaller, expand it and make it expansive. And even in that, there's hope, right? And just expand, being able to expand our hope and not shrink that. And then also being able to connect, which again, I never really thought of, but being able to connect our body with hope and using our body to make that hope grow. I thought that was just really brilliant, and that desire and hope go hand in hand. And I like how you weaved all of that together for us. And actually, your talk was really inspirational and it gave me hope to be able to do things a little differently and just to be able to have a new mindset. So thank you very much for that. Marcelio, you couldn't have asked for a worse person to be able to speak to yours, because I'm a horrible cook. So the whole thing about cooking, I was like, me with cooking. But I really liked how you laid it out, and like Jagdeep said, was just in that layman's terms. And I really appreciated kind of that recipe for life and how you put that together using love, compassion, and knowledge, and to be able to share it like you would share a recipe, if I had one to share. But now that you made me think of it that way, I just love being able to use something that is that all of us have, the love of food and the sharing of food. It makes people happy. And I think, like you said, when conflict comes up, share your knowledge, share your love, share your compassion. And so when you see someone is a little hopeless, share your hope and help and carry them through that. Share a little salt or a little sugar, like you said. So I really appreciated that really different kind of landscape you brought to the venue of hope today. And I really appreciate both the speakers as well as all those who have gone before. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Colleen. That was so well said. And for those who don't know Colleen, she was on our previous program on leadership, and you know, she continues to be my inspiration. And I think, what time is it now? 2 a.m. Yeah, close to, yeah. There you go. That's our commitment. And thank you so much for coming and you know, giving your analysis. We are almost halfway through a program. Before we go to our next speaker, I'm just going to open the channels for anyone to come and comment for next 2 minutes. Anyone to come and say something, you're welcome to come and make a comment now. Anyone? Alexandra, if you want to come in and say something, go ahead.
I was just thinking to say thank you for everyone. Like, this is amazing what you guys doing, and I think it's amazing idea. And I love that I never heard it in any other speaking events, that someone actually comes and wrap up, you know, the topic. And I think that's amazing. It was lovely to see Colleen to like translate my message into, you know, like how she actually was listening. And it's amazing how we take from every speech something different. And I love that idea. I think that's amazing. That's great. Thank you for that. Thank you.
And I think I learned from my previous workshops, because that was initially supposed to be my job to come in, but you know, when you are conducting a program, you really miss some of the finer aspect. And that's why I thought, who better to bring my leadership speakers from my previous event. And that's why I got all my leadership speakers here. Okay, we're going to go to our next speaker now. And that's going to be Ms. Asta Chandra from New Delhi. Asta, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. It's a privilege being here. And when I think of this topic of zest for life, give hope a chance. Hope is such a powerful term, you know. when we have hope, our life can dynamically change. So, we can wake up to something, we have something to look forward to. But what do we do if we do not have hope, if we feel hopeless? And I would like to share a very personal example over here. So a few years ago, my family went through a very devastating experience, to say the least. So my eldest brother, who was tall, young, handsome, all of 33 at that point of time, was overnight diagnosed with blood cancer, a very aggressive form of that. And, we had very little time. We got him admitted into a hospital immediately. And for the next 8 months, we were in and out of a hospital, and the whole family battled it. And we went through that struggle, and we were constantly battling for his life, but we had hope. So we went through it smilingly. And one day that hope left us, because life is not as you want it to be. It can be very hard. So my brother passed away in May 2014, and it was a very, very difficult experience for me, to say the least. And it's difficult for me. It's been 8 years, but it's a little difficult to talk about it still. And at that point of time, the mind frame that I went through, why am I alive? What is the reason for me to live? If he has gone, what is the purpose for me? That was one. And the second thing that really kept happening at the back of my mind was that, there's no goodness left in this world. Because my parents had raised me with a very beautiful philosophy, which a lot of people in India and even over the globe would understand, that good karma brings good karma. Goodness goes around. So my parents, as I saw them, were wonderful people. As a child, they would tell me to not even hurt an ant. So when I'm walking, I should be mindful of the ants which are ahead of me on the floor and not hurt them. And so I felt that there's such wonderful people who have never hurt a fly, who've never hurt an ant, and in my eyes, never done anything wrong, always helping people, always being in gratitude, distributing food, doing all good things, doing charitable things in society. So why did something so horrible happen to them? They did not deserve this in their old age. This was, this was life being unfair to us. And this was goodness being evaporated from the world for me, personally. And in that mind space, I could not function. I could not think properly. I was crying. I was unhappy. I was bitter, to say the least. But there's only so much pain that the human body can endure. And after that, change is inevitable. It is unavoidable, and one must change and grow. So, like I said, it's been 8 years, and I have come to a much greater peace and understanding. And to me now, in my life, I believe that my brother had a fixed time period on this earth. And with whatever little time he had, he chose to be with our family. And so it was a very blessed period for us to have him in our life. And also he was a very strong person. So for me to remember him for his strength and to emulate that strength in my life is the best ode that I can offer to my brother. Is the best way to remember him. So, and I also strongly believe that he would have wanted me to be happy. So now I'm at a place where, I'm smiling again. I'm living my life again. I am, sharing this with you all over here. And I'm trying to do whatever best I can in this world. And that's a huge, huge transformation for me. It's a huge change for me. And I believe, like Jeff Kitchewin earlier mentioned, that, even if we are in our deepest, darkest moments, even if we do not know where we are headed, there's something within us that is not broken, that, shines through, that lives on, that flickers. And that I believe is the human spirit, the indomitable human spirit, as I would like to put it. And I've seen it across people, it's not only my story of loss, but there's so many people who go through immense trauma and come out of it beautifully, and much stronger people. They're able to live again, love again, laugh again. So a very close friend of mine, she went through a very difficult marriage and a physically abusive marriage, and she had the courage to come out of it. But even after she came out of it, she had a lot to cope with. And 2 years after her separation, after being physically abused severely, she was in a cab one day in the beautiful Indian city of Bangalore. She was just driving. There was breeze blowing on her face. And she found herself smiling again, looking up to life again. And it was a revelation for her because she could be happy again and she could be free again. So for me, my personal belief is no matter where you are in life, no matter what your circumstances right now, no matter whether you think you are a failure, whether you think you're down in the dumps, whether you think, you can never recover from this, whether you are going through, whether you are taking drugs, whether you're an alcoholic, whether you're oversleeping, wherever you are in life, you can always survive and thrive. Thrive is important. And what we just need to do is pull through that one moment, one day, and then life takes its own course. So, life, your spirit within shines through. So I was speaking with Colleen the other day, and the one mantra that I would like to leave you all with is just pull through and your spirit will shine through. Thank you so much. It's been an honor being here, and namaste from India.
That was really good, Esther. I think I could hear you for another 5 minutes at least, I would say. It was such a, the beauty about all the speakers who have come, everyone like Marsilio, Asta, yourself, Alexandra and Sandeep, everyone is so down to earth. When you think about inviting people for speech, you think it's going to be so formal, it's going to be so scripted, but every one of you has just spoken from the heart. I'm so glad you guys have come to this program. I'm so honored. I have no words to say thank you to you, to be honest. Absolutely no words. So thank you so much, Asta. That was really good speech. We're going to go to our next speaker, which is from Perth again, Ms. Kay Doran. Kay, go ahead. Mic is yours.
Okay, got it unmuted. So I'm going to start a little bit different from everybody else. So I'm going to ask everybody to let go of any judgments from what I'm about to ask. And I'm going to ask you to trust. So I'd like you to close your eyes. I'd like you to put your hand on your chest. I'd like you to take a few deep breaths and just tap the chest. And while you're breathing and while you're tapping, I'd just like you to say the words to yourself: love, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness. And then bring your awareness back into the room. That love, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness is for self and for all others, and what might be happening in your personal world and globally. Now, the reason that I've asked you to do that, because for me, Zest for Life is actually about living a life you love. And hope comes from an aspiration for change. And the only change you can really grasp is the change for yourself, within yourself and within your life. And the reason I got you to close your eyes and to tap your heart is because science has proven there is a miniature brain within our heart. And the intelligence of this brain sends far more messages to our mind than our brain sends to the heart. And this intelligence in here, many people will call intuition, spirit, or God. I believe in the power of words. I've heard this voice within me, and I've always called it the voice of knowing. Knowing has no uncertainty. The voice of knowing, power, and potential. And this voice within here, I believe we need to start thinking with the heart and feeling with the mind. This voice within our heart center, this miniature brain, knows your soul's purpose, knows why you came, knows your power, and knows your potential. And when we connect in here, this is where we set true goals for ourselves, where we have true aspirations that aren't ruled and dictated by perceptions and beliefs, false stories and beliefs we've taken on throughout our childhood experiences, or that we've taken on from the world around us. And this is where people start to feel hopelessness, because they're doing their goals from their head, not from the intelligence of their heart, that is designed to support and guide us. I like to think of it as an aspect of ourself in a future now moment that whispers to us going, come, come. You've already achieved this. Let me show you how. The hope comes, and I'm going to use that analogy that others have talked about, the child. The child hopes that it can walk, but then it knows it can, which is why it gets up again and gets up again and gets up again, because it's no longer hopeful. It knows. It knows it is about to achieve this and live a life it loves. It does not doubt it. The one thing that will strangle the life and freeze hope in its tracks is fear. And when we aspire to change, you may take action towards it, but there will be a moment, if it's big change, where fear will come in. Now, what happens here is most people get strangulated by that fear. They also have a belief built that that is a negative. And I do not believe in negatives. The negative is if you allow that fear to rule you. But the fear itself, imagine if we change the lenses that we look through and the perceptions of how we think and feel and perceive something. And imagine if that fear becomes your friend, the signpost, because it's telling you you are heading in the right direction of your aspirations. The thing is, you're going to have to change, and you're going to have to grow, and you're going to have to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and a little bit uncertain. And here's a really powerful practice. And I asked people to do really simple things. I don't know about you, but I'm busy, and I've always been busy at times. And people will say to me, that sounds too simple, but here's a little explanation. I can sit here now and I can type an email to you all, and all I do is press send. And Asta, you might receive it. Well, you will receive it if I've got the right email address, and you'll receive that in seconds. Now, what I did was simple, but what's going on in the background has a bigger complexity to it. So don't underestimate what is simple. In order for you to put that fear into the passenger seat of your life so you can be in the driver's seat and keep moving forwards with your hope of your vision, of your desired outcome, that if you stay connected in with the intelligence and the knowing of the heart will become your knowing, which is certain. You need to do this. This is a very powerful practice. You can do it with somebody else, but you need to lay out the guidelines. And the guidelines are, I'm going to tell you my fears. Do not respond. Do not try to answer. Do not try to fix. And you will look the person in the eyes. If you're not comfortable with that, you can write it. And the way you will write it is, these are my fears. They are not my truth. Then you either speak out or write out exactly what those fears are, because you're taking them from back here, because we perceive that the negative comes from behind, and you are going eyeball to eyeball with it, knowing that it's actually your friend telling you you're heading in the right direction. And this is how you quieten it and put it in the passenger seat. Then you will either say or write, these were my fears, they're no longer my truth. And you're going to write out those hopeful outcomes. It's your truth. They're not your fears, it is your truth. And you're going to state them. Now, doing such a simple practice like that means you've actually listened to it. Have you ever had children and they all come running to you? So-and-so said this and so-and-so did this. And this is what I used to do with my children. I'd listen to one, I'd listen to the other, and I'd go, thank you. They'd look at each other and then they'd run off. They just needed to be heard. They didn't need responses. If we can do that with our fears, then we can continue to live a life we love, which is that zest for life. We can move forwards in the driver's seat of our life, not ruled by our fears that are fed by the false stories and beliefs that we've taken on. The truth is beyond the belief system. And the judgment of something as negative just makes it like a tantrum throwing child that gets louder and louder and louder. When we let the fear rule in those false stories and beliefs, it freezes us in our tracks. It sucks us into hopelessness rather than hope. And remember, hope is an optimistic attitude coming from the mind, based on a desire, based on your aspiration. It speaks to you of a desired future. It's also still the mind. When we do meditative practices beyond mindfulness practices, because mindfulness still keeps you in the mind, they are positive in order to teach you to know what's going on with your mind, to discipline your mind, but they still keep you in the mind, and you do not get to cross that bridge into that mini brain, that voice of knowing, intuition, spirit, God, whatever you would like to call it, but that voice of knowing and power and potential that will guide you every step of the way. It will speak to you, but you need to do practices to tap into it for the dial to be turned up so that you can move beyond hope and transform and elevate that hope into what some call faith, which means faith is in the now moment. Faith is not based on proof. Faith comes from a knowing. Because adversity is always going to be there. The very adversity that's before you is designed to get you to grow. It is designed to take you away from those unconscious false stories and beliefs that feed and direct your subconscious. And your subconscious is designed to protect you. So it says, oh, so you feel useless. Let's bring experiences for you to perceive and respond that way. But the intelligence in the heart is the one that speaks to you of your knowing, power, and potential, and will guide you through that uncomfortable terrain. And excuse the language, but I have a saying that says, shit will happen. You're either going to stink up the place, or you're going to use it to fertilize your garden. So make fear your friend. Live the life you love, that your soul knows that you came for. Give hope a chance to elevate into knowing. And please remember, the power of change is always in your hands. Thank you.
That was so philosophical and so introspective. It really, really resonated with me. And I think everybody was just pretty much standstill here. I'm going to get a quick comment from Dr. Deborah Dupre before I go to my analyst. Deborah, any comment quickly? Unmute.
There we go. Thank you. I love what you had to say, Kay. There are so many things. I like to say what Zig Ziglar says about fear. Zig Ziglar was very famous in the US in the 50s and 60s about sales, but fear is nothing more than false evidence or expectations appearing real. And so it's like, oh, so what am I fearing? Let's uncover that and let's unpack that, because yeah, it can keep us stuck. So you had so many wonderful words to say as far as taking a look at our reality and how we can move forward. And again, moving with the mindset of hope really is powerful. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you. I'm going to invite Payal Kothari to come and comment on the two speakers that have just completed their speech. Payal, go ahead.
Thank you, Jagdeep. Oh, this is a wonderful panel. I don't have enough words to express, but yes, I have to do the task. And Asta, your talk was absolutely wonderful. It spoke of hope as an innate feeling, an innate quality that human life possesses under any circumstances. That message itself is so hopeful that the human spirit, can transform anything, any situation, from hopelessness to hope, and it is just there within us. We have to give time to that. So that for me amounts to acceptance, and then taking the next step, which is innate in us, that hope just comes out. That is the human spirit. That is the ingenuity of the human spirit to get out of any situation. So that was truly inspiring, Asta. And coming over to Kay, oh my God, Kay, you had a different perspective to this entire situation of hope. What you've come up with is something so brilliant, and I have experienced this in my life. That voice of knowing is there in all of us at all the times. And that voice knows what is there in the larger scheme of things for us, and it can withstand anything and everything. And coming to the, yes, one of the major hurdles in this is, of course, our own very voice of fear. And fear needs to be handled. And Kay, the tips that you gave for handling, that is looking at fear straight into the eye. That fear, come on, what do you have to say? It's like the example that you gave of treating them like your own children, that yes, hear them out, that's about it, reactions. And because fear is basically an illusion created by our own mind, and it is our voice of knowing which knows it is not true. But yes, maybe because some of the speakers that they spoke of the physiological changes that we experience, we let fear overcome when that voice of knowing is always there. So thank you, Kay, that was truly wonderful, and you gave tips to elevate our hope into faith, and transforming that into faith and using that in our daily life. Just truly wonderful. I'm still absorbing that. Thank you both the speakers. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was truly very heavy stuff. Kay, we're lucky we are in Perth, so I'm definitely going to catch up with you after your speech today. I think there's a lot to discuss. What I'm going to do is unfortunately, Tess had to leave. So she's got some medical emergency with her mother, so she had to leave. So we have some extra time with us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and take maybe a minute of comment from every person, whatever they want to speak to, whatever has been done so far. I'll start with Colleen. Colleen, go ahead. You got 30 seconds.
You're starting with me?
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I can't, I think everyone knows I can't say enough about what's been said here today, but I think just coming off of here at the end when we're all ended, like I'm walking away with my own sense of hope. So I appreciate the inspiration, the reminder that hope exists, and the reminder that there's so many people out there who have my back in each of our backs to help us maintain a level of hope. Thank you, everybody.
All right. We also have one last speaker, though. But before we go to a last speaker, as I said, I'm going to take 30 seconds comments from everyone. Alexandra, go ahead.
As I said, probably just thank you for everyone to be able to connect with you and with different way of viewing things and listening things. I think that's important, and sharing how you understand the message and what hope means to you, and how we all actually connected that with desire and outcomes and goals, and thinking the way how we think, and plus fear, Kate, that was amazing. Yeah, I really love that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexandra. Marsilio, go ahead. You got to unmute.
I say it's a wonderful experience, and thank you so much for inviting me today, Jadip. I just want to share one thing my father used to say to me. Nobody's born master, everybody's born student. And today, listening to all of you, I learned so much, and I've been inspired so much. So all I can say, thank you guys for sharing your knowledge and for sharing your wisdom. We'll take it on board and we'll cherish for the rest of my life. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Asta, 30 seconds, go ahead.
So it's really wonderful being.
She got frozen.
Here, Dr. Deborah Dupree, she mentioned her sister-in-law who's just lost her vision. And, you know, their family is going through that right now. Sandeep mentioned the story where, you know, the person stood and made circles the whole night. So there are such powerful stories of resilience and, you know, really carrying on with life and moving ahead. And that for me is a huge takeaway. Yeah. And I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you all for sharing your personal stories and creating hope in each one of us and really expanding hope. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well said, Asta. Sandeep, last person to come in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to say thanks to all of you for being vulnerable, for bringing ourselves on the table, and thank you to Jagdeep for creating this safe space to do that, because it has been really wonderful to just learn from so many different points of view, and yet they are so relatable. Like every story, every point of view, I felt that yes, that has happened to me at some point of time. So thank you again. It has been an honor.
Oh, thank you, everyone. So we come to our last speaker for the session. That's Nawaz Marker from Mumbai. That's where I come from. And, you know, there are so many good things I have heard about her, but we're going to hear her speech today. Nawaz, stage is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. It's really wonderful to be here and hear all the different angles from which people have spoken today on that one topic of zest and hope in life. So I'm truly honored to be on this panel and share my views on Zest for Life and give hope a chance. As someone said, when life hands you lemons, use the opportunity to add more zest to your life. This is so relevant in today's times. At every moment in your life, you have a choice to be sour and crib about the situations you're in, or what's good in it, however small, and build it up from that. I'm Nawaz Marka. I'm blessed with a loving husband. I'm a mother of an awesome daughter, and I have 2 wonderful grand teenagers. I'm so blessed to have my family representing me here today. My sister Habobi and my aunt Mata are here too, and my daughter Kaz. So I am an adventurous woman, fearless to face challenges head on. And I've had this insatiable desire for learning. Truly believe the day you stop learning is the day you die. And today I had an opportunity to learn much more on this topic. I've had a long spell in the corporate world, working in HR. I did corporate trainings within the company and outside. And as assistant regional manager of NIIT, I had the opportunity to pioneer computerization of banking in India. As director of Nirmala Niketan Polytechnic College, I was intimidating yet accessible, and I helped my students live life at level 10, which built their strong foundation to step out into the world and reach great heights. They remain in connection with me in gratitude even today. Well, when most people are well settled into retirement mode, at age 68 in these pandemic times, I chose to make a difference to people's lives and embark on my new journey of being an empowerment and transformational coach, international speaker, networker, NLP practitioner, and have authored 2 books, 9 Facets of Effective Living and 7 Sweet Maneuvers to Bond with Your Mother-in-Law. Unusual topic for most, but very relevant in India. I'm also in the process of launching my mastermind around September this year. You see, age is just a number. Everything, as said before, lies in your mind. So give yourself the permission to dream big, risk big. It all starts from within. Think big, live large, and serve greater, as Darren Hardy says. Your zest for life comes from your state of the mind. Once you master the art of being in your best state, you can share the magic and wonderment of life with the world. In Winston Churchill's words, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. During this journey of life, whatever challenges come your way, you change the poison to nectar and transform yourself from being a victim to a victor. You are responsible for your life, and you create it by the choices you make. Your choices determine your behavior. Repeated behavior becomes a habit, and compounded habits shape your life. So change your life by changing your choices. You have a choice to live an ordinary life or an extraordinary life full of zest. Are you looking at life of growth? Living out of your comfort zone? Well, even the best have adversities. As you know, man proposes and God disposes. Yet, do not lose hope. Give hope a chance in your life. When God closes one door, He opens another, bigger and better. Hope is the companion of power and mother of success. For whoso hopes strongly has within him the gift of miracles. That was by Samuel Smiles. Champions have no room for good in their lives. They live beyond the good. You see, in a cricket match, all players are professionals and have hope of creating history. However, there is only one champion, the man of the match. There are always more people in the stands with the hope that their team will win. The activities that you're most afraid of are the activities that give you a breakthrough for your success. So let not your fears stop you and make you walk away from your passions. Be what others are afraid to be. Give hope a chance and let the results speak for itself. Make your adversities your advantage Your past does not define you. It prepares you for what's ahead. It builds your muscles and not your wounds. You fear everything and run, or face everything and rise? Is your glass half empty or half full for you? Like in any exam, do you go for it with results in mind? No. You go to an exam with hope in your heart and a good state of the mind. You just go there and do it. So don't just follow your passion, lead it. Let not your passions, walk away from your passions, you move towards them. To achieve what you haven't achieved in life, you need to learn what you don't know and do what you haven't done. As you know, Shiv Khera said, successful people don't do different things. They just do the same things differently. So you can't expect a big outcome doing what you do every day and then just say, I hope things work out right. To be successful, you must be willing to do the things today that others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow that others won't have. And that was by Les Brown. So to receive, don't just hope for it. Give what you want to receive. You want courage? You encourage others. You want love? Give love. You want success? Help bring success to someone else. Success is not just achieved by doing. Being is most important, as you are 100% responsible for your life. Your body is your bank balance, and your relationships are your billboard. So what are they advertising about you? It does not matter how slowly you move forward, as long as you don't stop. When the world says, give up, hope whispers, try it one more time. That says Dr. Seuss. The brave and successful man is one who keeps going on and hanging on with hope in his heart for just a minute more after everyone else has let go. Well, if all this makes sense and something ticks within you, look me up on Facebook or Instagram or even LinkedIn. My mission is to help 1,000 people transform their lives by 2025. So friends, hang on. This too shall pass, and the world will emerge in all its glory once again. Keep living with zest for life and give hope a chance. Thank you.
That was so nice. Really, really. I'm going to get Alexandra to comment on Nawaz's speech. Alexandra, any points you want to pick up?
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, because I have goosebumps, I have tears and everything. It was absolutely amazing speech, and I resonate with everything what you said, but I will try to pick up some things that really just hit my heart. And like, you started so amazing, like, I love your energy, and you started to pointing out that we should see all those amazing and positive things in even bad things, you know, that happen to us sometimes. And I think that's very important. And I will start probably when you say the day we stop learning is the day we die. That was what I was always sharing. I said, this is just so strong and so important. We need to just keep going and learning every day from everyone around us, from books, from other speakers, from other people. Is amazing. And I really agree with that. Dream big, live large, and serve greater. That was that is so true, and that was pretty much connected with the message when you say give what you want to receive. Like really give more, and just don't expect always that people will just give you something. And I had to say it resonates with me, because when I started my business, it was like all about money. Let's get money. And when I switched to really focus on my clients, I stopped care about money, and it was all about that beautiful connection and happiness and seeing their success. It was like, it's such a big gift. And I think that's all what you talk about. It's just really feel that and give more, and don't expect that, you know, everything will come back, because when we expect that everything will come back, that is never going to come back. And yeah, how important is give? That was the biggest message. And when you said that we are responsible for life, that was when you started strong. And we are responsible for life, for our life. We are only creators. And I think that was really important message to really think about that. But some people say, like, you know, we want that, we want big house, we want big car, but are we really doing excellence? And when you said, you know, do something beyond good, and that's the excellence. Give excellence all the time. Show up, you know, excellent way, professional way. And your clients, they deserve excellence. And I think that was great, really amazing ways to say that you really share amazing message, and it really resonates with me. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Alexander. That was very beautiful words. Thank you.
Thanks.
Pradeep, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay, there were some issues. I'm not sure what. It just locked me out. I couldn't unmute myself. Technology. That was, Alexander, thank you so much for doing the analysis at such a short notice. Really appreciate it. It was really well done. We have few people here who've been watching us, so I'm going to invite Rosarica. Rosarica, if you want to come and do a quick comment, if you don't mind.
Hello, Jagdeep. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Nawaz for extending this invite to me. Yeah, I'm
your camera on?
I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to.
Okay.
I've got some vendor at home, so you know, not good background. Sorry for that. Yeah. So I got so much learning from this session, beautiful talk and lovely stories. One thing I would like to add from my own experience is we all focus on learning new things. And one thing we cannot forget is the unlearning. We say, let go, let go. So what does it mean, let go? Let go means we are unlearning the things that we have been overthinking or we're quite worried about. And now, another line I would like to add is every night we sleep with the hope that tomorrow we are going to see a bright day, a bright morning. So with this line, I would like to close. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. We also have Nawaz Marcus' daughter watching Kaz. Kaz, can you come in and give a quick comment and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Hi, this is Kaz. I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and it was a great session. Thanks, Mum, for bringing me on, and Jagdeep, what a wonderful session. It's amazing to see how we all evolve and learn from everything that we have in life. And all I'll say is there's only one person responsible for the change in your life, and that's you. So stay blessed, keep positive, and life will evolve for the brighter and the better, as we're all facing today. So thank you, everyone. Stay happy, stay blessed.
Oh, like mother, like daughter, spoken really well, very short. I also have Stacia Lewis. Stacia, if you want to unmute and come on camera, I want to introduce you to everyone. I'm having a few issues. There you go, Stacia, unmute yourself. You can't unmute? Oh, I'm having some issues. I don't know what is going on. Can somebody see if they can unmute Stacia?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh, okay, because it's just kind of it's locked. Now, I want to introduce you to Stacia. She is in Mumbai. She's a daughter of my life coach. That's why. So she's about 16 years old. And
20.
those, how much?
I'm 20.
Oh, you're 20. Oh, sorry. All right. I missed it. Sorry. So Stacia is, if those who have attended my sessions in the past, Colleen, you know, the certificate that Payal, Colleen, and everybody else got in the previous session was actually designed by Stacia. Yep. So I do have a little surprise for everyone. I normally don't announce it earlier, but every participant, we are so honored to issue you a participation certificate today, which I will send very shortly after the conclusion of, and that certificate that you're going to receive today was designed by Stacia from scratch. And it is most beautiful certificate that you're going to receive. And I put a challenge to her. She is a student of art. And I said, you do me a bad job, I'll give you 50 rupees, which is like $1. I said, if you do me a good job, you know, I'll give you $100. So at the end, she did a really good job. And I kind of teased her and I said, have you copied this from somewhere? But so the certificate that you will get today has been designed by Stacia, and I really wanted her to come and, you know, meet the audience that she's been serving Mediation Steadfast. So all the brochures, all the advertising that Mediation Steadfast has been putting up has all been designed by her. So at the age of 20, she's done an amazing job. I'm so proud of her. And as I said, she's the daughter of my life coach. So Stacia, look at all these people.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to conclude this session. If anyone wants to comment, please unmute yourself. There is some dramas going on. It's not allowing me to do anything. So I just don't want to, so please unmute, and for next 1 minute, anybody wants to say anything before we conclude, go ahead.
Well, I would like to invite everyone to connect with me if they wish to. More than happy to say welcome to my world. So then be part of the journey of my life. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Ms. Celia. Colleen.
Sandeep, this is Kat. Since you said it was very short on my part, I'll probably say as a share, I run Monday mindfulness calls on at 7 p.m. Melbourne time on Zoom. So if anyone wants to look us up and join, similar safe space to be in, similar happy place to be in, similar learning space to work with, I'll be more than happy to have all of you on. There's so much we can all share and give back in our small ways. This is something I started over a year ago. And we've had 20, 30 people, sometimes 15, 20, bouncing every week for over a year. We've been serving without any dollar value to it, just to help people stay on top of their lives, especially in these COVID times. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Kaz. Colleen, any last comments?
No, just there's so many brilliant people here with so much to share. I'm just really honored to be part of it, and so thank you for inviting me.
And Colleen, what time is it there right now?
What was that?
What time is it there right now?
I think it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 3:15.
How do you manage to look still so fresh and so good looking at 2:30 in the morning?
You're sweet. But thank you, everybody. It's just an honor to be here. And thank you, Stacy. Nice to meet you. And thank you for that.
All right, Payal, any last comments? Sandeep, any last comments before we go? And Kay, of course, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you. Oh, sorry.
Anyone? Kay, you go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you. You know, in a way, I didn't really know what I was getting involved with. I just followed that voice of knowing, and you know, how fortunate and blessed to become part of a panel of really exceptional people sharing their stories. And I think, as I wrote up there, if we climb to the top of the mountain and only look at the view that's in front of us, we don't see the full 360 view. And I think having different people coming in with different voices and different perspectives creates that full view. And it's just been a blessing to be part of this. So thank you so much for the invite.
Oh, thank you. Payal, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It was just wonderful being a part of this panel, and somewhere today with all of us together and more. So the panel has expanded hope in the universe. There is some more hope in the universe. I'm so glad about that. Thank you so much for that, Jagdeep. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure. Sandeep, go ahead. Asta, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Jagdeep, I think the best part was, apart from the speakers, a lot of them that I knew, the participant who came and spoke, Rosarica, she made such a wonderful point. She could be a speaker herself, let go. And on my screen, I see a lady, Havovi Kathoke. I don't know who she is, but if she would like to, I would love to listen to her for a second. Because getting the audience views is so wonderful, so I just thought I'll bring her on. If you wouldn't mind, and if you wouldn't mind.
Can you do me a favor? Can someone make me a host? I don't know what has happened. It's just locked me out. So somebody give me a host access. I just can't do anything. I don't know what this system has done. All right. How are we? Go ahead.
Yeah, she can come on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Havovi Kathok, and I'm Nawaz Marka's younger sister.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's been a wonderful session, listening to these varied speakers with varied viewpoints, yet focusing on one topic, zest for life and give hope a chance. It's been really inspiring, and this was a wonderful Sunday morning, well spent, enlightened, and happy to be here. Thank you, one and all.
We can see three Nawaz markers here, all good looks here. Nawaz Marka, Hawaii Katoli, and Kaz. I can see you got really good genes going on here. Lucky you.
I'd like to say a word here, Jagdeep.
Sure.
Earlier in the session, we had Mata Bes Bamji on the call too. She is my aunt. She's a scientist, a very senior person, award-winning scientist on the panel of WHO. And she, at this, big age, when I'm 68, you can imagine what she is. She still wins awards every year, and she is the inspiration of our whole family, motivating all of us to excel in our lives.
Yeah.
And my daughter Kazvin here, she's also an excellent speaker in her own rights, and next time maybe you could give her a chance to.
Absolutely. For those who don't know much history about India, who are from outside India, I'll tell you what, Nawaz is a Parsi. And if you read the history of what Parsis did to Indian, when they migrated from Iran to India, the contribution that the Parsi community has done for the development of India in the British era is unbelievable. What they did for the community, it is something in their genes. It's not just the good looks in the genes that we see, 3 of them here, but there is something philanthropic that is in the Parsi genes. And I've got so much respect for this community. And even 60 years from independence, they still continue to contribute to the Indian continent. So you got to read the history about Parsis in India and how they migrated. So proud of you. And I don't think India would have been what it is today had it not been the Parsis who contributed to our technological, upliftment. So thank you. So on behalf of everyone in this world, I actually want to thank you as being a Parsi and, being a part of our legacy.
Thank you. And I'd like to say our religion, Parsis, is because we came from a province from Pars when we came to India. And our religion is Zoroastrianism. We are Zoroastrians. And if you can just resonate with a name or two, then you would know where philanthropy has taken place and sowed its seeds in India, is the Tatars. I'm sure most of you have heard of Tatars.
Yes.
And Godrej. And these are the, pioneers, Shapurji Palanji. And these are the pioneers who have really, really helped not only India, but even the world. Thank you. Thank you for the appreciation.
No, thank you. Sandeep, last words.
Oh, thank you, everyone. I believe that in our life journey, when we meet somebody, that it's destined. And then every time we meet someone, the future of that journey changes. And today, after meeting so many of you wonderful people, it has changed for good for me. And I hope it has changed the same way for each one of you. And I'm sure that, and I hope that we will meet each other again in some way, shape, or form. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I ask someone where I'm not sure what is going on? I've just totally lost control of this Zoom thing. Can you change the view to gallery view? Because I can only get speaker view coming up on.
We can't change your view. I think
That is on your own computer you need to change.
No,
I'm on gallery view.
Yeah, it's just not allowing me because when I'm seeing the recording on YouTube, it's only coming up as a speaker for some reason. So I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Yeah, if somebody can possibly click on my name and probably give me a host access.
That it doesn't allow us to do that.
I don't know what has happened.
You are co-host already. That's why it doesn't show on the drop down. I tried that before.
All right. Okay. All right. Because as I'm seeing it on YouTube, it's only the speaker is coming up, and I wanted to show everyone, you know. All right. So we will.
Your main screen in the view, and you might be able to do it.
I've done that. It's not letting me do it. It's just taken control out of me for some reason. Not sure what's happened. All right. All right. What we will do then, unfortunately, we have to work with technology, whatever it is doing to us. I'm going to conclude the session, and I think Payal will know how I'm going to conclude this session. It's going to be a poem. That's right, Payal. See, Payal is shaking her head. So I'm going to read a poem that I have, what I call stewed poem. So like a warm, nourishing soup to be served in a cold winter night, I have specially stewed this poem just for you using verses from 4 poems. And it's a poem called Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dixon. And the second poem is To Hope by John Keats. The Instinct of Hope by John Clare, and Slam of Life by Henry Longfellow. So what I've done is I've actually stewed a poem. I've taken up verses from each of these magnificent poems, and I've turned it into a stewed poem for our audience and our panelists here. So this is dedicated to you. So I wrote this specially for you. So hear me and tell me if you like it. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. When my solitary heart I sit, with no fair dreams before my mind eyes flit, and the bare heath of life presents no bloom, sweet hope ethereal balm upon me shed, and wave thy silver pinions o'er my head. Even the small violet feels of future power, and waits each year, renewing blossoms to bring. And surely man is no inferior flower to die unworthy of a second spring. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Thus thou art, to thus returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Trust no future, however pleasant, let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present, heart within and God overhead. So thank you very much for attending. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, remain hopeful. Thank you very much. See you there.
Thank you everyone. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye-bye.
See you, everyone.
Thank you, Jagdeep, and thank you all the panelists.
Mediation Steadfast, based in Perth, Western Australia, offers alternative dispute resolution, ADR, for family disputes, business disputes, and employee relation issues. Mediation is your opportunity to avoid full-blown litigation or trial. Mediation is an alternative to going to court. Rather than have a judge decide on your matters, with mediation you can come up with your own solutions with the help of an accredited mediator who is a neutral person, who has expertise in the process, and who does not take sides. Our FDR, Family Dispute Resolution Practitioner, can help people affected by separation or divorces to sort out a range of issues relating to property, money, and most importantly, to develop a parenting plan to set out arrangements for their children. At Mediation Steadfast, we facilitate the meeting in a very professional environment, either in person or through remote audiovisual network, where you are still in control of the outcomes, which is a relief. Have an idea about what you want? Give Mediation Steadfast a chance to help you to be creative about your solutions. You can determine the way forward and negotiate some kind of settlement or an agreement that you are in control of, instead of something that is being dictated or handed down to you. What you discuss remains confidential, and what you have decided in mediation can be made to work. You can make it work well and be happy about it. There are no winners or losers at Mediation Steadfast. For with some flexibility, you can reach solutions that are appropriate, functional, and healthy for your mental well-being. Whether it's family, business, or employee relation disputes, you can create ways for conflict resolution right in the mediation agreement. You can say, okay, in the future, if something comes up that we had not anticipated, here's what we're going to do about it. Decide on a tentative agreement about matters before you decide to go to trial again. What you create from this process, you can and will adapt to with time. You can always revisit mediation in future. It feels so much better and it works. Mediation is a powerful alternative to some of the less favourable options. You can find more information about our facilitative mediation on our website, www.mediationsteadfast.com.au. Please share this with someone else you think will benefit. Make alternative dispute resolution a decision for reconciliation.